Thistledown, Ohio, 1879. Ethan Turner was halfway through his routine check when he realized one of his passengers had vanished. He paused in the narrow, dimly lit corridor, the rhythmic clatter of the train's wheels against the tracks resonating through the metal walls. His heart pounded as he stared at the empty compartment. The elderly man who had boarded at the last stop was nowhere to be found, and with the night express speeding through the remote, foggy countryside, the situation was about to get much worse. Ethan's mind raced as he quickly surveyed the empty seat. He had a keen eye for detail, honed over 5 years of ensuring the safety and comfort of passengers on this very train. The elderly gentleman, Mr. William Hargrove, had seemed frail yet composed when he had stepped onto the train, his presence noticeable only by the cane he carried and the polite nods he gave to fellow passengers. Now, his absence felt like a glaring anomaly in Ethan's meticulously ordered world. The soft glow of the gas lamps cast flickering shadows along the mahogany panels of the compartment. Ethan's fingers brushed over the worn leather seat, still warm from Mr. Hargrove's presence. The luggage rack above was empty, save for a neatly folded coat and a small, weathered satchel. Panic tugged at the edges of Ethan's mind, but he forced himself to remain calm. He decided to investigate alone to avoid alarming the other passengers. Ethan stepped back into the corridor, closing the compartment door with a quiet click. He moved swiftly but silently, his polished boots making barely a sound on the plush red carpet. He knew the layout of the night express intimately, from the luxurious first-class carriages to the more modest quarters towards the rear. Tonight, the train seemed to take on an almost sentient quality, the groaning of the wheels and the occasional hiss of steam adding to the eerie atmosphere. Ethan's heart raced as he began checking the nearby compartments. His mind churned with questions. How could an elderly man simply vanish from a moving train? The windows were securely fastened, the doors locked from the inside. He pressed on, peering into each compartment, asking polite but urgent questions to the passengers. "Excuse me, have you seen an elderly gentleman, perhaps wandering the corridors?" he asked a middle-aged woman knitting a scarf. She looked up, puzzled, and shook her head. "No, I haven't seen anyone like that," she replied, her voice tinged with concern. He received similar responses from others, each one adding to his growing unease. As he moved towards the rear of the train, he passed through the dining car, where the soft murmur of conversation and the clinking of silverware created a stark contrast to his mounting anxiety. The familiar faces of the staff greeted him, but he could offer only curt nods in return. The passengers were a mix of regular commuters and occasional travelers. The Night Express had a reputation for attracting curious and adventurous individuals due to its mysterious allure and historical significance. Ethan knew many of them by name, having shared countless journeys through the English countryside. Yet tonight, their familiar faces offered little comfort. He approached a small group of passengers in the dining car, their expressions turning from curiosity to worry as he explained the situation. Among them was a curious young girl named Lily, her bright eyes wide with interest. "Can I help, Mr. Turner?" she asked eagerly, her voice cutting through the murmur of the dining car. Ethan smiled, despite the gravity of the situation. "Thank you, Lily, but I must handle this myself. It's important not to alarm anyone unnecessarily." Lily nodded, her disappointment evident, but she remained seated, her curiosity clearly piqued. Ethan's fellow conductor, Thomas, was in the next carriage, his jovial nature evident even in his stride. Thomas noticed Ethan's troubled expression and approached, his usual smile replaced by a look of concern. "Everything all right, Ethan?" Thomas asked, his brow furrowing. Ethan hesitated, knowing Thomas's tendency to cause panic. "I've got a situation, Thomas. An elderly passenger, Mr. Hargrove, seems to have disappeared. I need to find him without causing a scene." Thomas's eyes widened. "Let me help. We can cover more ground together." Ethan shook his head firmly. "No, Thomas. I need you to keep an eye on the passengers and maintain order. I'll handle the search. Just make sure no one else notices anything unusual." Reluctantly, Thomas agreed. "All right, but if you need anything, just holler." Ethan nodded, appreciating Thomas's understanding. He continued his search, moving through the carriages with renewed determination. Mr. Grady, the train's engineer, was a steady presence at the front of the train. Ethan knew he could rely on Grady's practical approach and calm demeanor in crises. As Ethan reached the engine room, Grady glanced up from his controls, his weathered face lined with concern. "What brings you here, Ethan?" Grady asked, his voice a gravelly rumble. Ethan explained the situation quickly, watching as Grady's expression turned thoughtful. "Mr. Hargrove, you say? Disappeared. You say?" "Yes, and I need to find him before we reach the next stop," Ethan replied, his urgency palpable. Grady nodded slowly. "I'll help. We'll start from the back and work our way forward." Together, they began a thorough search of the train. The dim lighting and the rhythmic clatter of the wheels added to the tension, each shadowy corner seeming to hold secrets. Ethan felt a mixture of relief and anxiety as they moved through the carriages, their progress methodical yet unhurried. They reached the historical carriage, a relic of the train's storied past, often whispered about in hushed tones by the staff. The carriage was kept dimly lit to maintain its eerie ambience, and tonight, it seemed even more foreboding. Ethan hesitated at the entrance, the air around him growing colder. He could feel the weight of history pressing down on him, the stories of ghostly sightings and strange occurrences lingering in his mind. With a deep breath, he pushed open the door and stepped inside. The atmosphere was tense and unsettling, the flickering gas lamps casting long, dancing shadows on the walls. Ethan's footsteps echoed softly on the wooden floorboards as he moved deeper into the carriage. Every creak and groan of the train seemed amplified in the stillness, adding to the sense of foreboding. Without warning, an unseen force slammed into Ethan, knocking him off balance. He stumbled, his hand reaching out instinctively to grasp the edge of a nearby seat. The attack was swift and violent, the assailant's strength surprising. Ethan fought back, grappling with the shadowy figure in the dim light. The struggle was brief but intense. Ethan managed to fend off the attacker, who disappeared into the darkness as mysteriously as they had appeared. Breathing heavily, Ethan straightened up, his heart pounding in his chest. He looked around, but the carriage was empty, the shadows hiding any sign of his assailant. As he regained his composure, Ethan noticed something unusual. During the struggle, one of the floorboards had come loose. Curious, he knelt down and pried it up, revealing a hidden compartment beneath the floor. Inside, he found an old map and a few gold coins, their dull gleam hinting at a larger treasure hidden somewhere on the train. Ethan's mind raced with possibilities. The discovery of the map added a new layer of mystery to Mr. Hargrove's disappearance. He knew he had to decipher its meaning if he was to find any answers. Ethan carefully unfolded the ancient map, its intricate details and cryptic symbols mesmerizing in the flickering light. The map appeared to be a treasure map, leading to a location somewhere on the Night Express. The paper was old and fragile, the ink faded but still legible. As he studied the map, a sudden chill filled the air. The temperature dropped noticeably, and Ethan felt an eerie presence around him. He shivered, glancing around the dimly lit carriage. The sense of being watched was overwhelming, but he forced himself to focus on the map. The ghostly figure of Mr. William Hargrove appeared before Ethan, his spectral form flickering in the dim light. Ethan's breath caught in his throat as he stared at the apparition. Mr. Hargrove's expression was one of sorrow and desperation, his eyes pleading. "The treasure is cursed," Mr. Hargrove's voice echoed softly, filled with a profound sadness. "I am bound to this train until the treasure is found and released. Please, help me break this curse." Ethan felt a surge of determination. He nodded, vowing to help the restless spirit. The revelation added urgency to his search, and he knew he had to uncover the truth behind the treasure and the curse that bound Mr. Hargrove to the Night Express. Lily, the curious young passenger, had been following Ethan's search with keen interest. When she saw him studying the map, she approached cautiously, her eyes wide with curiosity. "Mr. Turner, may I help?" she asked, her voice filled with genuine concern. Ethan hesitated, but the complexity of the situation made him realize he could use all the help he could get. "All right, Lily, but you must promise to be careful and follow my instructions." Lily nodded eagerly, her face lighting up with excitement. Together, they began piecing together the clues on the map, determined to uncover the treasure and break the curse. The Night Express was nearing a critical juncture in its journey, with only a few stops left before reaching its final destination. Time was running out for Ethan to solve the mystery. The air was thick with tension as the train sped through the foggy countryside. Ethan, Lily, and Mr. Grady prepared for the next phase of their search. Armed with the map and newfound determination, they braced themselves for the challenges ahead. The fate of Mr. Hargrove's spirit and the mystery of the Night Express depended on their success. As the train continued its journey, Ethan felt a renewed sense of purpose. The ghostly presence, the hidden treasure, and the eerie atmosphere all pointed to a larger mystery that needed to be solved. With Lily and Mr. Grady by his side, he knew they stood a better chance of uncovering the truth and breaking the curse that haunted the Night Express. Ethan Turner sits in his compartment, staring at the ancient map spread out before him. The dim light of the gas lamps flickers, casting eerie shadows on the parchment. The train's steady rhythm pounds in his ears, a constant reminder that time is slipping away. Mr. William Hargrove's ghostly revelation weighs heavily on him. The treasure is cursed, and only by finding it can he break the curse and free the spirit bound to the train. His heart pounds with a mixture of fear and determination. The passengers remain blissfully unaware of the supernatural threat lurking within the carriages. Clutching the map tightly, Ethan resolves to intensify his search efforts. He cannot fail. The train speeds towards its next stop, and with each passing moment, the urgency mounts. Ethan's calm demeanor begins to erode under the mounting pressure. He re-examines the map, his eyes tracing the intricate symbols and lines. The ancient parchment feels fragile under his fingertips, as if it could crumble at any moment. The weight of responsibility presses down on him, and he struggles to maintain his composure. His mind races, trying to piece together the clues. Suddenly, he misinterprets a symbol, leading him to a dead end in one of the carriages. Frustration builds, and he clenches his fists, feeling the pressure mounting with each misstep. The supernatural elements and the ticking clock gnaw at his confidence, but he knows he must push through. The Night Express is a labyrinth of hidden compartments, some designed as traps to protect the treasure. Ethan moves cautiously through the carriages, aware that one wrong step could spell disaster. The dim lighting and the creaking of the train add to the tension, making every shadow seem like a potential threat. In his haste, Ethan triggers a hidden mechanism. A section of the floor gives way beneath him, and he narrowly avoids falling into a concealed pit. His heart races as he pulls himself back up, shaken by the close call. The complexity of the treasure's hiding place becomes painfully clear, and he realizes the dangers are greater than he anticipated. The Night Express is known for its ghost stories, often dismissed as mere legends. But tonight, those stories become disturbingly real. As Ethan searches a deserted carriage, a door slams shut behind him without any apparent cause. A chilling draft sweeps through the room, sending shivers down his spine. Eerie whispers echo through the carriage, filling the air with an otherworldly presence. Ethan's pulse quickens. He scans the room, but sees no one. The supernatural occurrences shake him, but he refuses to let fear take hold. He presses on, determined to find the treasure and break the curse, even as the haunted atmosphere heightens his sense of unease. Lily, the curious young passenger, proves to be more than just a bystander. Her keen interest in history and natural talent for solving puzzles make her an invaluable ally. Ethan initially hesitates to involve her, but her insights prove crucial. "Mr. Turner, have you considered this?" Lily points to a symbol on the map, suggesting a different interpretation. Ethan's eyes widen as he realizes she's right. Her fresh perspective leads them to a previously overlooked compartment. Together, they search the hidden space, their determination renewed. Ethan feels a spark of hope, grateful for Lily's help in this treacherous quest. As Ethan and Lily continue their search, they encounter the shadowy figure determined to sabotage their efforts. The malevolent spirit was once a guardian of the train's secrets, now cursed to protect the treasure at all costs. In a dimly lit corridor, Ethan senses the presence before he sees it. The air grows cold, and a chilling whisper fills the space. The shadowy figure lunges at him, and a fierce struggle ensues. The train sways violently as they grapple, the ghostly assailant's strength surprising. Ethan fights back, using his wits and determination to fend off the spirit. Breathing heavily, he watches as the figure dissipates into the shadows. The encounter leaves him shaken, but more convinced than ever that he must succeed. The malevolent force's determination to stop him only fuels his resolve. Ethan Turner studies the map again, his brow furrowed in concentration. As he examines the ancient parchment, he makes a startling discovery. The map is incomplete. A section has been torn away, leaving a crucial piece of the puzzle missing. The realization hits him hard. Without the missing portion, finding the treasure becomes a daunting task. The setback threatens to derail his progress just as he thought he was getting closer. Ethan feels a wave of frustration, but he refuses to give up. He must find the missing piece, no matter what it takes. Ethan decides to consult Mr. Grady, the train's experienced engineer. Grady's extensive knowledge of the Night Express's layout and history proves invaluable. Together, they discuss the situation in the discovery of the incomplete map. "Mr. Grady, do you know of any hidden compartments or structural anomalies on the train?" Ethan asks, his voice tinged with urgency. Grady nods thoughtfully. "There are a few places that might hold what you're looking for. Some hidden features were designed to protect valuables. We'll start with the old conductor's logbook. It might have clues about where the missing part of the map could be." Ethan feels a renewed sense of hope. With Grady's insights, they have a new strategy. The search continues, guided by the knowledge and experience of the train's seasoned engineer. The Night Express holds many secrets, and Ethan is determined to uncover them. He and Lily gain access to a restricted section of the train, searching through old documents and artifacts. The dim light casts long shadows as they sift through the remnants of the train's storied past. Among the dusty papers and forgotten relics, they find a journal that belonged to a former conductor. The pages are filled with cryptic notes and sketches, hinting at the missing part of the map. Ethan's heart races as he realizes they are on the right track. "This journal might hold the key," he says, showing Lily the intricate drawings and annotations. Lily nods, her eyes wide with excitement. Together, they piece together the clues, feeling a sense of progress as they unravel the mystery. The malevolent spirit becomes more aggressive as Ethan gets closer to the truth. The shadowy figure haunts his steps, determined to protect the treasure. In a deserted carriage, Ethan encounters the spirit again. The air grows cold, and a chilling whisper fills the space. The figure lunges at Ethan, and a fierce struggle ensues. The train sways violently as they grapple, the ghostly assailant's strength surprising. Ethan fights back, using the knowledge gained from the journal to weaken the spirit's influence. Breathing heavily, he watches as the figure dissipates into the shadows. The encounter leaves him shaken, but more convinced than ever that he must succeed. The malevolent force's determination to stop him only fuels his resolve. Guided by the journal's clues, Ethan discovers the secret mechanism hidden within an old clock in the train's dining carriage. His hands tremble with anticipation as he manipulates the clock's intricate gears. With a soft click, a hidden compartment opens, revealing the missing piece of the map. Ethan's heart soars as he retrieves the fragile parchment. The map is now complete, and he feels a renewed sense of hope. He carefully unfolds the ancient paper, tracing the lines that will lead him to the treasure. "This is it," he whispers to Lily, who watches with wide-eyed wonder. "We're close." With the complete map and the knowledge of the curse, Ethan and Lily prepare for the final stage of their quest. The treasure's location is within reach, but the dangers and the malevolent spirit still pose significant threats. Ethan studies the completed map, formulating a plan to reach the treasure's hiding place. He gathers the necessary tools and equipment, ready to face the final challenges that lie ahead on the Night Express. The weight of responsibility presses down on him, but he remains determined. As the train speeds through the foggy countryside, Ethan and Lily brace themselves for the final confrontation. The fate of Mr. Hargrove's spirit and the mystery of the Night Express depend on their success. They must find the treasure and break the curse before it's too late. The rhythmic clatter of the Night Express's wheels against the tracks echoes ominously through the train as it hurtles towards its final destination. Ethan Turner, clutching the incomplete map, feels the weight of urgency press down on him like a physical burden. The passengers remain blissfully unaware of the supernatural conflict brewing within the train's compartments. With each passing minute, Ethan feels the pressure mounting, time slipping away. The ghostly presence of Mr. William Hargrove has become more intense, his spectral form urging Ethan to hurry. As the train speeds through the foggy countryside, Ethan's heart races. He cannot afford any more mistakes. Every moment counts, and the weight of responsibility is almost too much to bear. He knows he must find the hidden gold and break the curse, or Mr. Hargrove's spirit will remain bound to the train forever. As Ethan makes his way through the train, the ghostly manifestations become more frequent and aggressive. Shadows flicker ominously, strange noises echo through the carriages, and the temperature drops noticeably. The train feels alive with supernatural energy, a malevolent force that seems to taunt and guide him in equal measure. Spectral hands reach out from the walls, ghostly whispers fill the air, and phantom footsteps echo behind him. Ethan's nerves are frayed, but he pushes forward, determined to see this through. The haunting presence of Mr. Hargrove urges him on, a constant reminder of the stakes involved. In the dimly lit conductor's quarters, Ethan stumbles upon an old logbook hidden behind a loose panel. The book is a relic from the early days of the Night Express, containing detailed records and personal notes passed down through generations of conductors. As he leafs through its yellowed pages, Ethan's eyes widen. There, meticulously drawn and annotated with cryptic clues, is the missing piece of the map. His heart leaps with hope. The logbook holds the key to unlocking the final location of the hidden gold. Ethan feels a renewed sense of purpose as he carefully studies the pages, piecing together the clues. Ethan pieces together the information from the logbook and the now complete map. His heart races as the final location of the hidden gold is revealed. A secret compartment within the train's engine room, a place rarely accessed by anyone other than the train's engineer. The realization fills him with a mix of excitement and dread. He knows he must move quickly, for time is running out. He gathers Lily and Mr. Grady, sharing the revelation with them. Their expressions mirror his urgency and determination. Together, they prepare for the final leg of their journey, knowing the engine room holds the key to breaking the curse. The journey to the engine room is fraught with danger. The ghostly presence grows stronger, the air thick with supernatural energy. The train's vibrations make it difficult to navigate, and every step feels like a battle against unseen forces. Ethan, with Lily and Mr. Grady by his side, makes his way through the labyrinth of machinery and hidden compartments. The oppressive atmosphere and constant noise make it hard to focus, but they press on, driven by a shared determination to succeed. The engine room is a dark, cramped space filled with the hum of machinery and the smell of oil and steam. It's an intimidating place that adds to the tension of the situation. Ethan's heart pounds as they step inside, the oppressive atmosphere pressing down on them. The constant noise makes it hard to concentrate, but Ethan forces himself to focus. They must find the concealed compartment and retrieve the hidden gold. Every second counts, and the sense of impending doom is almost overwhelming. As Ethan reaches the concealed compartment, he is confronted by Jonathan Blake. The longtime crew member reveals himself as the mastermind behind the attacks, wielding the cursed treasure's power to maintain control over the train and its passengers. His eyes gleam with a sinister light as he steps forward, a smug smile on his lips. "You've come a long way, Mr. Turner," Blake says, his voice dripping with malice. "But this is where your journey ends." Ethan's heart races as he faces the man responsible for the train's supernatural horrors. The tension in the air is palpable, and he knows that this confrontation will determine the fate of everyone on board. Jonathan Blake explains the true nature of the curse, his voice filled with a chilling certainty. The cursed treasure binds whoever takes it to the train, its malevolent power keeping Blake ageless and in control, but at a terrible cost. He reveals that taking the gold will bind Ethan to the train forever, just as it has done to him. Blake's words send a shiver down Ethan's spine. He realizes the gravity of the situation. If he takes the gold, he will be trapped on the train for eternity. If he leaves it, Mr. Hargrove's ghost will be doomed to eternal wandering. The weight of the decision is immense, and Ethan feels trapped. Realizing the gravity of the situation. The weight of the decision is immense, and the consequences will affect not only him but the lives of the passengers and the spirit of Mr. Hargrove. He debates internally, knowing that taking the gold means sacrificing his freedom, while leaving it condemns Mr. Hargrove to eternal suffering. The room feels smaller as Ethan grapples with his decision. The air is thick with tension, and the stakes have never been higher. He must find a way to resolve the situation without condemning anyone to a terrible fate. Lily, with her fresh perspective and ingenuity, suggests there might be another way to break the curse without condemning anyone. Her knowledge of historical curses and artifacts becomes crucial. "Mr. Turner, what if we destroy the treasure?" she asks, her voice filled with hope. "I read about a similar curse once. They broke it by destroying the cursed item." Ethan's eyes widen as he considers her words. It's a risky plan, but it might be their only hope. With a renewed sense of purpose, they prepare for the final confrontation, determined to destroy the treasure and break the curse. Jonathan Blake, desperate to maintain his control, becomes increasingly unhinged and violent. The confined space of the engine room becomes a battleground as Ethan and his allies fight for their lives. The clanging of machinery and the hiss of steam add to the chaos, creating a nightmarish atmosphere. Ethan fights with renewed determination, knowing that destroying the treasure is their only hope. Blake's power is formidable, but Ethan's resolve is stronger. The battle is fierce, but Ethan, with Lily and Mr. Grady's help, manages to gain the upper hand. In a climactic moment, Ethan wrestles the cursed treasure from Jonathan Blake's grasp. With a decisive blow, he smashes the treasure against a metal surface, shattering it into pieces. The ghostly presence dissipates, and Mr. Hargrove's spirit is finally freed. Jonathan Blake ages rapidly, his true years catching up with him in an instant. Ethan and his allies breathe a sigh of relief as the train approaches its final stop, free from the curse at last. The weight of the experience settles over them, but there is also a sense of triumph. They have broken the curse and freed the spirits bound to the Night Express. As the train pulls into the station, Ethan receives a letter from his grandfather, revealing that he had once faced a similar curse and had left clues for Ethan to follow, knowing he might one day need them. Ethan steps off the Night Express, feeling the weight of his experience. As he looks back at the now ordinary train, he whispers, "Guess the old man was right. Some treasures are best left unseen." Ethan Turner slumped against the cold metal wall of the engine room, his breathing ragged. He felt defeated and exhausted, the weight of his predicament pressing down on him like a physical force. The remnants of the cursed treasure lay scattered around him, their once ominous glow now dull and lifeless. Mr. William Hargrove's ghostly form hovered nearby, more desperate than ever. "Please, Ethan," Mr. Hargrove's voice was a hollow whisper, filled with centuries of sorrow. "You must find a way to break the curse. My soul cannot bear this torment any longer." Ethan's heart ached with the weight of responsibility. He had come so far, faced so many challenges, yet the solution seemed as elusive as ever. The ghost's pleas echoed in his mind, amplifying his sense of failure. He closed his eyes, trying to summon the strength to continue. Jonathan Blake's laughter cut through the silence like a knife, sharp and mocking. He stood at the entrance to the engine room, his eyes gleaming with sinister satisfaction. "You've done well to get this far, Turner," Blake sneered, "but it's all for nothing. You'll never escape the curse." Ethan forced himself to stand, his body trembling with fatigue. "Why are you doing this, Blake?" he demanded. "What could you possibly gain from such cruelty?" Blake's smile widened, a cold and predatory expression. "Power, Turner. Control. The cursed treasure grants me both, and now you will share in my fate." The villain's arrogance only deepened Ethan's despair. He knew Blake believed he had won, that Ethan would succumb to the curse just as he had. The thought filled Ethan with a burning determination to prove him wrong. As Ethan grappled with his predicament, a distant memory surfaced. He recalled his grandfather, an old conductor who had once faced a similar supernatural challenge. The stories his grandfather told him as a child came rushing back, tales of hidden mechanisms within the night express designed to protect it from threats. His grandfather's voice echoed in his mind, filled with wisdom and courage. "Ethan, if you ever find yourself in a bind, remember the train's fail-safes. They were built to neutralize any supernatural influence." Ethan's eyes widened with realization. Could it be true? Could the train itself hold the key to breaking the curse? He felt a glimmer of hope, a spark of determination igniting within him. With renewed purpose, Ethan began searching the engine room for the hidden fail-safes his grandfather had spoken of. The space was cramped and cluttered with machinery, the air thick with the smell of oil and steam. His hands shook as he felt along the walls, searching for any sign of a concealed panel. Minutes felt like hours as he meticulously examined every inch of the room. Finally, his fingers brushed against a small, inconspicuous latch behind the main controls. His heart raced as he pulled it, revealing a hidden compartment filled with intricate mechanisms. Ethan stared at the fail-safe mechanism, his mind racing. It was a complex array of gears and levers, each one meticulously designed to neutralize supernatural forces. He took a deep breath, his grandfather's instructions echoing in his mind. "Careful now, Ethan. One wrong move, and it could all go wrong." With trembling hands, he began to dismantle the mechanism, carefully following the steps he remembered from his grandfather's stories. The process was tense, each movement requiring precision and patience. The ghostly presence of Mr. Hargrove and Blake's taunts heightened the pressure, but Ethan remained focused. As Ethan completed the final step of disabling the mechanism, a wave of energy pulsed through the train. The cursed treasure's malevolent glow faded, becoming just ordinary gold once again. The supernatural hold on the night express was broken, freeing the train and its occupants from the curse. Mr. William Hargrove's ghost began to fade, a peaceful smile on his face. "Thank you, Ethan. You have freed me at last." Ethan watched in awe as the ghostly figure dissolved into the ether, the oppressive atmosphere of the train lifting. Relief washed over him. The weight of the curse finally lifted from his shoulders. Ethan sat back, breathing heavily. The sense of relief was palpable, the air feeling lighter and fresher. The ghost of Mr. William Hargrove had thanked him and faded away peacefully, signifying the end of the supernatural threat. Ethan felt a profound sense of accomplishment, knowing he had done the right thing. Lily and Mr. Grady entered the engine room, their expressions filled with awe and gratitude. "You did it, Ethan," Lily said, her voice trembling with emotion. "You broke the curse." Ethan nodded, a small smile playing on his lips. "We did it together. Thank you for your help." With the curse broken, Jonathan Blake was left powerless. The remaining crew members, who had been unaware of the full extent of his actions, now saw him for what he truly was. Ethan and Mr. Grady moved quickly, restraining Blake before he could cause any more harm. Blake struggled, his eyes filled with rage and desperation. "You may have won this time, Turner, but I'll be back. You haven't seen the last of me." Ethan met his gaze, his expression steely. "You'll answer for your crimes, Blake. The authorities will see to that." The hidden gold, now devoid of its curse, was no longer a threat. It had become a valuable but ordinary treasure that needed to be handled by the proper authorities. Ethan and the crew carefully collected the gold, securing it in the train's safe. As the night express reached its final stop, they turned the treasure over to the local authorities, ensuring it would be dealt with properly. The sense of closure was immense, knowing the gold would no longer pose a danger to anyone. As the night express pulled into the station, Ethan received a letter from his grandfather, posthumously delivered. His hands trembled as he opened it, the familiar handwriting bringing a lump to his throat. "Dear Ethan, if you are reading this, it means you have faced a great challenge and come through it stronger. I knew one day you might need the knowledge I passed down to you, and I am proud of the man you have become. Remember, courage and resilience will always see you through the darkest of times. With love and pride, Grandfather." Tears filled Ethan's eyes as he read the letter. It provided a sense of closure and connection, confirming that his grandfather's wisdom had been instrumental in his success. Ethan absorbed his grandfather's words, feeling a deep sense of pride and gratitude. The letter reassured him that he had made the right choices and honored the legacy of courage and integrity passed down through his family. It was a reminder that some challenges are meant to test one's character, and that he had emerged stronger for it. He folded the letter carefully, tucking it into his jacket pocket. The knowledge that his grandfather had faced a similar curse and left clues for him filled him with a renewed sense of purpose. As Ethan stepped off the night express, the sun was beginning to rise, casting a warm glow over the station. He felt the weight of his experiences settle over him, a mixture of exhaustion and fulfillment. He looked back at the train, now devoid of its eerie presence, and whispered, "Guess the old man was right. Some treasures are best left unseen." Ethan walked away with a renewed sense of purpose, ready to face whatever the future held. The journey had tested him in ways he never imagined, but it had also revealed his inner strength and resilience. He knew that, no matter what challenges lay ahead, he was ready to meet them head-on.